Good evening. On behalf of the Center for Modern Torah Leadership, I'm very pleased and proud to welcome you all for coming tonight. I want to specifically welcome the principals and executive director of Maimonides. It's a milestone for us tonight because I think it's the first time in the history of the center that we're going to have an introducer introduce an introducer. It's a major measure of growth in the history of the program. I want to say that we're in the middle. The Center of Summer Beit Midrash program is having an incredible summer, and let's traditionally start by thanking the host. It's an amazing thing. Now that I'm native of the community, it's even more amazing that as a community was taken 16 students, pretty much the entire summer, community, and then on top of that, we're importing a dozen rabbis and educators, and you're taking them in also. It's unlikely that the community has ever been better at fulfilling the injunction in Pirkei Avot, Yehi Beitcha Beit Vad LaChachamim, that your house should be a meeting place for the wise. And in response, Sharon, Massachusetts is a destination for Torah. We have students and rabbis here from Washington State and Washington, D.C., and from Israel, because your openness and welcome has made this a place from which Torah, and specifically in which a vision of modern Orthodoxy is being created that is changing the world. So I want to thank you for that, and as part of the Hakaras HaTov, tremendous Hakaras HaTov to Rabbi Sender and Ann Sender for encouraging the growth of this program for so many years, and Ann now is taking on the position of the program director. And we want to tonight both interest for ourselves and giving back to the community. It's a tremendous pleasure and honor to produce this panel. And with that, I want to hand it over to Rabbi Sender to introduce the program.
Yeah, we are so pleased to have the Center for Modern Torah Leadership here and all these distinguished scholars that have been with us for this rabbinic conference. And tonight we're particularly delighted to have this panel discussion on where is modern Orthodox education headed. That's the topic. And we have with us very distinguished scholars. For us, it's just a wonderful opportunity as a community to hear some of the great experts and professionals in the field. I'm going to introduce our panel, go alphabetically. We have Rabbi Sholem Berger, who directs educational programs at the Lookstein Center for Jewish Education, part of the School of Education at Bar-Ilan University. And many of you may be familiar with the Lookjed listserv that Rabbi Berger directs, and many of you, in fact, may have even posted comments on it and gotten responses. Rabbi Berger previously taught at BMT, Midrashet Lindenbaum in Israel, in Aliyah in 1991. Prior to that, taught and acted as director of the Israel Guidance in New York area high schools. His doctoral dissertation focused on the impact of the one-year Israel programs on American day school graduates, and it was published as part of Flipping Out, Myth or Fact, the Impact of the Year in Israel. Also developed the Orthodox Caucus's Guide to the Israel one-year programs. It's now hosted by the Center for Jewish Future at Yeshiva University. We also have with us very distinguished Rabbi Yaakov Bieler, who received smicha from Yeshiva University in 1974. He's a Jerusalem Fellow in 1985 to 86. He taught and served as an administrator at Ramaz, I'm familiar with that, and the M.J. Berman Hebrew Academy. And Rabbi Bieler has been involved in adult Jewish education in New York and the Washington, D.C. area, and since 1994 has been the rabbi of the Kemp Mill Synagogue in Silver Spring, Maryland. I was pleased to be there once as a scholar in residence. It is one of the most dynamic kehilos in the country, an extraordinary place with an extraordinary Rav. Rabbi Bieler has been a mentor in the Bar-Ilan University Lookstein Center Principles Program and has written on the philosophy of modern Orthodox education. We also have, and I'm really distinguished director of the Center for Modern Torah Leadership, and I'm really happy to be able to say, our own Rabbi Clapper. That for me, I've been wanting for many years to be able to say that for Rabbi Clapper and Deborah, that they should come to Sharon and be part of this community and really strengthen the level of Torah learning, the level of Torah discourse here, which they in truth have done. Rabbi Clapper is the Dean of the Center for Modern Torah Leadership, Rosh Beit Midrash, or the Summer Beit Midrash program, which has been very dynamic this summer. We're really delighted to have all the fellows here with us, doing a tremendous job. And also, not just learning for themselves, but learning with the community. For us, it's one of the highlights of the year. Rabbi Clapper also is a member of the Beit Din of Boston, instructor of rabbinics and bioethics at the Gann Academy, served as the Orthodox Advisor and Director of Education at Harvard Hillel, and as Talmud Curriculum Chair at the Maimonides High School. So we have here a very distinguished panel, experts in education and Jewish education, and the topic tonight is the direction of modern Orthodox education. And I solicited questions from the community, and we did receive, in fact, some questions by internet, but we'll also be opening up the discussion at the end for a lively question and answer period. So I know you've come loaded for bear here to discuss very important topics that are really vital to all of us who have children in day school, who have had children in day school, for whom Jewish education is one of the most pressing and important issues. So we have some questions that we put together from those that were submitted by the internet. I also happened to get a bunch of questions off LookJet. Surprise. I went back for 3 years of LookJet discussions, and there's just a wealth of discussions there. So if you're not familiar with the site, you have to take a look at it, LookJet site. So we have a couple of questions that were submitted, and I'd like to, basically, they came together in 3 areas in terms of modern Orthodox education. I would say the first major topic is organizational issues for day schools. The second topic will be methodology, and then thematic issues in handling Jewish education. Those are the 3 main topics. So I'm going to start off, and what I'll do is I'm going to be presenting these questions. Our panel will discuss these issues. We'll go question after question. Some of these are your questions. And then at the end, we'll open this up for a lively discussion and debate, okay? But we're going to begin with some organizational issues. We thought to start with the question, what is the best model for gender relations in the modern Orthodox day school? To say it differently, is co-education really feasible? Is this the right model for education? Should we be educating our boys and girls separately? Is separate gender education healthy, or is it effective, and especially for girls and young women? So the general issue of educating young men and young women together, that's the first question.